Hello and welcome to this general introduction to 4 plays by Terence that we're looking at in 4 separate videos, but the introduction to those videos is going to be exactly the same, and in a moment there will be an awkward crossover to where the bit we read of the plays. These are all just the openings of plays. We're just going to test the waters, because the problem with the Terence translations that we're looking at, in theory they're all translated by Richard Bernard, or Bernard, I don't know, it's a surname, I go for Bernard. They're all published in 1598, and we did one recently and it was rubbish, and so we want to know whether A, he's the author of the translation, and which case it's rubbish, or if he's just stolen somebody else's, in which case it might turn out to be quite good. If the text turns out to be quite good, we will read the rest of the play at some point in the future. If it turns out to be rubbish, we will say we've done due diligence, this isn't an actionable play, and we won't attempt to action it. So we have reading in the room. We have Alan, we have Aliki, we have Eric, we have Lynn, and now awkward jump cut as we go to The Eunuch by Terence, translated by Richard Bernard, probably. And yes, we're going to do the opening of the play and find out how it functions. We have Act 1, and we're skipping the prologue each time as well, because the prologues are they are quite fun actually, usually in Terence, but we're going to get something that looks a bit like dialogue. The disadvantage, of course, of starting with Act 1 is there's a lot of exposition, but it does stress test also how well the author is dealing with complex thoughts, and we shall see what we get. It does move into something more like a scene in a moment, but yes, we have The Eunuch, as translated by potentially Richard Bernard. I'm going to ask Eric if you could read Phaedria, and Aliki if you could read Parmeno in this first scene. So, Act 1, Scene 1, Phaedria, a young man, and Parmeno, his servant.
What then shall I do? Shall I not go? What, not now when I am so kindly called? Or shall I rather resolve with myself not to put up with the despiteful abuses of a filthy drab? One, she shut the door on me, now she calls me again. Should I go back? No, though she entreat me never so much.
Yea, marry, handle her so if you can, and never did you play a better or more brave part. But if you shall once take it in hand, and not perform it worthily, being not able to hold out, nor peace concluded, and when nobody covets your company, then go crouching to her, making profession of your love, and that you cannot forbear the sight of her, all is dashed. You may get you packing, having utterly cast yourself away, for she will ride you like an ass when she sees you to be vanquished.
Sorry, my script's just misbehaving. Well, therefore, I pray thee, while time serves, look very carefully about thee, that I may be delivered.
Oh, master, it's not in your power to rule that by advice which is void of good counsel, neither observes any mean, for in love are there many vices, injuries, suspicions, enmity, truce, war, and peace again out of hand. If you should require to make these uncertainties certain by reason, you should do no more than if you endeavor with reason to run mad. And in your anger, that which now you meditate upon with yourself, to wit, shall not I be even with her that entertained him, debarred me and would not admit me, suffer me this once, rather will I die. She shall know what a fellow I am. Verily, I tell you, master, one counterfeit tear, which she miserably by violent rubbing of her eyes hardly shall wring out, will cool these hot speeches, and make you willing to accuse yourself, and suffer her to take revengement of you.
Oh, shameful and abominable act! Now well I perceive her to be a devilish queen, and myself a forlorn wretch. I'm sorry that I had anything to do with her, and yet I love her exceedingly. Thus of mine own knowledge and admonished by another, wittingly and willingly I cast myself away. neither know I in the world what to do.
Oh, sir, what should you do but ransom yourself, being her prisoner, for such a sum as you may? Do not thus torment yourself.
Dost thou so advise me?
Yea, if you know what you do. And besides, I would have you not to augment your sorrows more than through love you needs must, and patiently bear those it brings with it. For lo, now comes forth the very destruction of our substance, who wipes our noses of all that we should have.
Okay, initial thoughts. Now, of course, we're not here to assess how good Terence is. We're here to assess the translation, the early modern translation thereof. How are we finding the flow of that? I'll go to Alan first.
I'm just wondering whether what's happening is the translator is actually stuck with the Latin sentence structure such that it is, because it doesn't look like English sentences. There are far too many subclauses for it to be easily comprehensible, either read or listened to.
It does feel remarkably similar to last time, where it is a more technical translation than it is a performable one. But how are the performers feeling about it, Aliki?
I was feeling pretty good about it until I got lost halfway through my longest speech there and wasn't quite sure what exactly I was referring to at any given time. But that does happen with some of our solid, properly English early modern texts too. So haven't quite made up my mind.
It definitely doesn't feel anywhere near as bad as our previous effort. But it's still potentially has quite a way to go in terms of things. Other thoughts in the room? How are other people finding it? There's only two other people in the room. Eric.
It's just like, I mean, I get what you mean about the flow, but it's kind of, yeah. I feel either the punctuation needs like reassessing, or just something is off, aside from me. But yeah, it's kind of very long, like for the comedic text. I feel like it has it's doing a lot of things that we don't really get in this translation, I think.
Yeah, I think as ever, there is also a structural problem. That, we're looking at the opening. There's people delivering lots of exposition, and that's going to be just sort of nature of the beast. But in terms of the way the dialogue itself is flowing, it's a difficult job trying to translate that kind of material, because there's, you've got quite complicated, and then this and this happened, and this is who's doing what, and it's slightly different from trying to do back and forth stuff. But we have a little bit more back and forth stuff coming up in the next scene. I say the next scene, it's a continuation of the previous scene. For what we have here, we have Lynn, if I could ask you to read Theus the Harlot, who in Act 1, Scene 2, enters to Phaedria and Parmeno, who will remain the same readers.
Woe is me, unfortunate wench that I am! I fear lest Phaedria should take it heavily and misconstrue my dealing, for that yesterday he was not let in.
Oh, Parmeno, since I beheld her, I tremble and quake every bone of my body.
Sir, be of good comfort. Come near to this fire, and presently you will be hot enough.
Who have we talking here? What, was it you, my dear heart Phaedria, who stood you there? What's the reason you came not in forthwith?
Aye, but not a word, I warrant you, of this shutting out.
Why speak you not?
In good faith, because to say the truth, these doors always stand wide open for me, and because I'm in the greatest favor with you.
Let these things pass.
What? Let these pass? Oh, Theus, I would to God you loved me as well as I love you. And in like manner it might be brought to pass that this, my shutting out, might either as much grieve you as it doth me, or else I could set light by this bad dealing of yours.
Oh, Phaedria, for God's sake, my sweetheart, vex not yourself, for surely I did it not because I loved another better, or that I bear greater affection to any man more than to you, but for the case stood that of necessity it must be done.
I suppose how it comes to pass. Poor soul, thee for mere love shut him forth of the doors.
Sayest thou so, Parmeno? Well, go to. But let me tell you for what cause I sent you hither.
Speak on.
First and foremost, tell me this. Can you keep counsel?
What? Not I. None in the world better. But hear you me, mistress. I promise you faithfully upon this condition that what I have heard to be true, those I will keep secret and conceal excellently well. But if so be I hear anything that is either false or to no purpose, or forged, or out it goes by and by, I can hold in nothing. I leak at this side and that side, and therefore if you will have me keep counsel, say only that which is true.
My mother was born on the Isle of Samos, and she did dwell at Rhodes.
This may be kept secret.
There a certain merchant gave her a little wench, frankly, stolen from hence, out of the city of Athens.
What, was she free? Sorry.
What, was she freeborn?
I think so. I am not sure of it. She told us the name both of her father and her mother, but the country and the rest of the marks and tokens she knew not. Neither could she, by reason she was so young. The merchant over and besides told us that he heard she was stolen of robbers from Sunium, of whom he had bought her. After my mother had entertained her and began to teach her carefully all the parts of housewifery, and so to bring her up as though she had been her own daughter, whereupon everybody, almost, thought verily she had been my sister. I myself, departing thence, came hither with that stranger with whom I had alone to do, and that left me all these things which I have now.
Neither of these two are true. Out they shall go.
How knowest thou these things are false?
Marry, because one sufficed you not, neither gave he them alone, for this my master here brought you both a great part, and that which was good also.
It is as thou sayest, but give me leave to finish my tale. Whilst these were in doing, a captain that was become a suitor to me went into Karoulla. In the mean space, I came acquainted with you, ever since you know yourself how most tenderly I loved you, even so well as that I make you privy to all my devices and counsels.
If faith, neither will Parmeno keep those things close.
Is there any doubt of that?
Oh, sorry. Of all loves to this I am telling you, there my mother departed this life, but a while since now, her brother, being a man somewhat given to the world, after he saw this young damsel of what an amiable beauty and lovely countenance she was of, and that she had skill to play of an instrument, thinking belike to get a good sum of money for her, brought her forth by and by, and sold her. As good luck served, this my lover was there present, and he bought her to bestow on me, being ignorant and knowing nothing at all of these matters. But after that, he was come to Athens, and perceived that there was something also between you and me, and that we were great together, made delays, to the end he might not give her me out of hand. And thus he saith, if he could believe that I would prefer his company afterwards before yours, and also that if he might not fear to be cast off, when I had once taken her of him, then willingly he would give her me. But he feareth. He feareth it. Thus he excused the matter. But as much as I gather, he hath fallen in love with the maid.
Yea, but was there no further matter between them?
No, for I made inquiry of that. My dear heart, Phaedria. Now, my dear heart, Phaedria, there are many reasons that move me why I desire to withdraw her from him. First of all, for that she is said to be my sister, Secondly, that I may restore her again and give her to friends. I am here a lone woman. I have nobody to do anything for me, neither friend nor kinsman. For which cause, sir, I purpose to purchase some friends by this favor. Therefore, as ever you with me well, help me in this matter, to the end it may more easily be brought to pass. Give him leave to be preferred before you this 2 or 3 days. Say you nothing to me?
Thou lewd woman, can I answer thee anything, thou dealing thus palterly with me?
Ha, my master, I commend you. She will once thoroughly feel the smart of it, how you show yourself a man.
Thou toldst me a tale, but I knew not what what pass. Thou wouldst bring it till now. There was, sayest thou, a little one. She was conveyed away from this place. My mother brought her up for her own. She scolded my sister, desired to take her from him, that I may help her to her friends. Marry, forsooth. Your tale is come at length to this point, that I am thus out, and he is received in. And why so, I pray you, but that you love him better than me? And fearing now lest this wench which is brought over hither should put your nose out of the joint, coming between home and you, and so have such a trim fellow herself.
What, do I fear that?
What other thing then troubles you? Tell me, is he the man alone that gives you gifts? Have you perceived me to be pinching? Did you ever perceive my bounty holding towards you at any time? Did I not set all my other business apart to fetch you a waiting maid out of Ethiopia after you once told me your mind? A little after you said you would have an eunuch, for that women of great estate have of them. I have gotten you one of them too, for which too I paid yesterday 20 good pounds. Yet for all this you make no reckoning of me. Well, I have not forgotten these things. I see for these good turns you contemn me.
What is this you say, sir? Albeit I desire to have her from him, and do think that by this means it might be best of all be brought about, yet nevertheless, rather than I should lose your favor, I will do even as you will have me.
I would to God you did speak truth from your heart, without all deceit when you say thus, rather than I should have your displeasure. If I could think this to be spoken without dissimulation unfeignedly, I could bear with anything whatsoever.
He is faint-hearted. How soon is he even with one word overcome?
Oh, poor wretch that I am. Do not I speak as I think? What thing desired you ever of me, though it were but in jest, which you obtained not? When all came to all, and yet I cannot get this grant of you, only to go outside for these 2 days at the furthest.
Yea, indeed, if it be but for 2 days, I would not marry. I would not have these two made 20.
In troth, not above 2 days. Or
pass not to make as light account of you as you do of me.
It shall not be. Let me entreat you only these 2 days.
Yea, marry, I must do as you will have me. There is no remedy.
Oh, sir, my love is well bestowed. You have deserved singular kindness at my hands.
Well said. Now I will go into the country, and there I will pine myself away these 2 days. I am fully resolved to do as I say. Thais of necessity must have her fancy fulfilled. See you to this, Parmeno, that they be brought hither.
Yes, sir.
Farewell, Thais, for these 2 days.
Oh, my dear heart, Phaedra, God be with thee. Will you anything else with me before you go?
Will I anything else? Marry, my will is that your mind be on me whilst you keep the captain company, and that you love me dearly both night and day, long for my company, dream of me, always be looking for me, and let your mind that run on me think I will not be long absent. Take pleasure in the remembrance of me, and be wholly occupied about me. Finally, look that I have your heart, because you have mine.
And potentially exit of Phaedra and Parmeno.
Oh, unfortunate wench that I am. Peradventure, this man giveth small credit to my words, and judgeth me now by other women's dispositions. But this I am certain of, who knows mine own heart best, that I have forged nothing, neither is there any in the world that I more dearly love than this man Phaedria. And whatsoever I have done concerning this matter of shutting him out, I have done it for the damsel's sake. And now I believe I have in a manner found who is her brother, very renowned young gentleman. He appointed to come to my house. I will go in, and there will stay, looking for him until he come.
And thus ends Act 1. Okay, I think we've got a better feeling for it now. It does feel to be slightly better in terms of its flow than Formio, the Terence we've done previously. But it's not exactly singing, is it? So the question we have very much here to ask is the question, is this a performable text in a sensible sense? Because is it performable if we just made some trims, or is it just simply this is a very literal translation that needs to be rewritten by a playwright who knows how to write dialogue and is trying to write dialogue that works? So that's sort of the two phases of the question. Where do people land on this? Aliki, I'm getting the impression that you're not a fan.
Yeah, I'm landing on the rewrite side. There are entire lines that flow perfectly nicely, but once you get into an utterance of more than, subject, object, verb, some difficulty, yeah, it needs work.
Yeah, which is sort of slightly beyond our remit, except in the more extreme of cases. Because this isn't up, shall we say, part of our primary mission. If it's a gimme, we'll go for it. But if it's not, then we might just move on, because there are other Terence translations available. There's lots of them, and when we find a good one, we'll stick with it. Lynn, any thoughts?
Yeah, basically the same thing that Aliki said. It sounds like the plot is kind of cute. There's sex worker who's basically, has a relationship with one of her clients, but she kind of has to pretend not to because this guy has her friend, her sister. That's something that is a plot that would have occurred to an early modern playwright, just the cultural differences. So that's kind of interesting. But it's something like, that you could sell a modern audience, that a genuine relationship with a sex professional is not. That's so much more normative for us than it would have been in 1600. But yeah, the syntax. Sorry, I'm a school teacher. I've had enough of crappy syntax for a while. Although this is bad syntax in a way that's very different than college composition teachers assault me with. But
the syntax here is with malice aforethought. It's not.
It's not a lack of mastery. It's just
It's trying to capture something of the phrasing from the original, but in another language, and it's not.
Which is a fool's errand. It's just.
Okay. Any additional thoughts, different thoughts, as it were, about this one? At the moment, I'm feeling just a quick vote. Do we really want to read on?
Nah.
No, I think that's a no. Just a warning for anyone who is going to read on in your own. If you want to read the Terence in a different translation, just warn you going ahead. There is some sexual violence, which is always hilarious in a comedy. There are massive cultural differences, not just for the early modern stuff, but also, of course, for the classical world as well. It swings and roundabouts. Now for an awkward closing note from me after a really jaggedy jump cut. So all that remains to thank all the wonderful readers for all their wonderful reading of Terence in English. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye.